A very good morning, class 11th. So, we have done so many topics now in photosynthesis chapter. We have finished with our non cyclic, we have done with the cyclic one as well as chemiosmotic synthesis. For we have now you have basic idea about the ATP, NADPH2 as well as the products of photosynthesis in a thorough manner. So now the next another pathway after C3, that is the Hatch-Slack pathway. So it is Hatch-Slack pathway, that is name is because of their scientist name. Otherwise, it is known as the C4 pathway and C4 cycle. Please excuse me for my hiccups. Today I'm having hiccups from very long hours, so please excuse me for that. So I was saying that C4 pathway is also known as C4 cycle. In my last lecture we talked about that why it is known as C4, because the first stable compound or first stable product which is formed in this cycle, it is a 4 carbon compound. So from that this pathway is known as C4 pathway. If we have to write down the examples of these C4 plants, then we can mention maize, we can mention sorghum, sugarcane, euphorbia. So these all plants, because they followed this C4 pathway, they are known as C4 plants. So as you can see, this is a maize plant, this is a sorghum plant. Sorghum, basically they are the cereals, they are rich in proteins. And this is the euphorbia plant, which is very commonly seen in the homes and surrounding the in the gardens also. It has a bunch, basically these flowers they grow in the groups. So these they follow these they follow the C4 pathway. Now, what is the so special about C4 plants? They have special type of leaf internal structure. Internal structure means, one is the outer structure that we call the morphology. When we talk about the internal structure, then we call it as the anatomical structure. So C4 plants, they have special type of leaf structure. They can tolerate very high temperature and they show a very good response to high light intensity. Obviously, if they can tolerate high temperature, it means they can survive in high light intensity. They lack a process photorespiration. Photorespiration I'm not going to talk about today in my lecture, but our next lecture we are going to talk in detail about the photorespiration. It is a process in which the product of photosynthesis is sometimes utilized. So it is a some people say it is a wasteful process. So we will talk about this process in our next lecture, but right now that you need to understand or you need to know one thing only, that C4 plants, they does not undergo this photorespiration. They are so much adapted, they have evolved themselves. उन्होंने अपने आप को इतना चेंज किया है कि they lack photorespiration. Don't go through this process. They give greater productivity. As you know, the sugarcane, a sugarcane crop has the very much productivity in terms of the biomass. So these C4 plants, they give great productivity in terms of their crops of, or if we talk about in terms of their weight or biomass. So what are the adaptation? I told you they lacked photorespiration. So what are the various adaptations? What they have done to avoid this photorespiration process? ऐसा उन्होंने क्या किया है कि जो product है photosynthesis का, in their cycle it is not used. So how they are adapted themselves to avoid photorespiration? First adaptation, very important adaptation for C4 plant is, listen to me very carefully, that they have dimorphic chloroplast. Di means they have two types of chloroplast. One is the granule and one is agranule. Now I am very much sure that if you have watched my video, the previous lecture of photosynthesis, you are very much clear about that what is grana, right? So these, if they are having these stacks or these piles, then it means they are, that structure is the grana. So they have grana. In a granule they do not have grana, they only have stromal lamellae, right? If suppose we have to draw here the structure, that is the structure of grana, right? Means sorry, granule chloroplast. So as you can see that if these are our grana, and these grana, they are connected with the help of the stromal lamellae. In a granule chloroplast, everything is same, only they do not have grana, they only have stromal lamellae. That's right. So they only have stromal lamellae, they do not have grana. That is the difference between the granule and agranule chloroplast. Second point is that these C4 plants, they show Kranz anatomy. Now the question comes in mind is that what is Kranz anatomy? Kranz anatomy, or if I say that if we look through the anatomical structure of the leaf of these plants, then they have something this kind of structure. The outermost, as you know, that this is our upper epidermis, this layer is upper epidermis, and there is a waxy coating which is called cuticle, and there is our mesophyll cells, right? Palisade and spongy, these are our palisade parenchyma, and green oval structure, they are our spongy parenchyma. Basically these are our mesophyll cells. Now in the palisade parenchyma, they have granule chloroplast. These cells, they have granule chloroplast. Granule chloroplast means they have grana. Now there is a layer of cells around the vascular bundle. As you can see, here is the xylem, here is our phloem, these are our vascular tissue. So there is a layer of cells around these vascular bundle. So this layer of large cells around the bundle, it is known as bundle sheath cells. Means it is these cells are arranged like a ring. That is why they are known as wreath like. Wreath is like a, basically it's like a ring. So these are the bundle sheath cells, and these bundle sheath cells, they are having granule chloroplast. It means they do not have grana, they only have stromal lamellae, right? And grana is present here in the granule chloroplast. And where are these granule chloroplasts present? They are present in the palisade parenchyma. And where is the agranule chloroplast present? They are present in the bundle sheath cell. So but what is the adaptation, what is main thing? As you can see that where is our non-cyclic photophosphorylation take place, if we talk about that these granule chloroplasts, then they are having thylakoid, right? They are having thylakoid. Now non-cyclic photophosphorylation will take place here. If non-cyclic photophosphorylation will take place, then the oxygen will be released, right? So now as you can see that here they are having oxygen. But if we look at these agranule chloroplasts, now they are present deep into the cells, deep inside. These are present on the outer area, means just they are directly exposed to light. But these agranule chloroplasts, they are present deep inside. So first thing, their temperature is little low as compared to the mesophyll cell, plus oxygen is not there, right? Oxygen is not there. So these two steps, they are helpful them, they are very helpful for them to adapt for themselves to avoid the photorespiration process. That one thing, the temperature is very low here, and second, oxygen is not here. So now we will see that as the larger cells which are present around the vascular bundle, I already told you that these large cells which are present around the vascular bundle, they are known as bundle sheath cells. And leaves which show such type of anatomy, they are called Kranz anatomy. Place wherever, now we have discussed that in the granule chloroplast, light reaction will take place, right? And what will happen to the A granule chloroplast? In A granule chloroplast, C3 cycle take place. Why C3 cycle? First thing, these A granule chloroplast, they are present deep into the cells because they are present in the deeper and upper side there is a present mesophyll cells. Second thing, they are rubisco dependent, so they having bundle sheath cells which are rubisco dependent. Basically they are present deep, so deeper cells may they, these are the bundle sheath cells. And well as temperature is not high, so rubisco will work. And wherever the in the plant when rubisco will work, so rubisco, you know that C3 rubisco is present, it means it will show the C3 cycle. So here again I am repeating once again, two types of chloroplast. Which what is these two types? One is the granule and one is the A granule. If these are granule chloroplast, if these are granule, it means they will show there at their place light reaction will take place. But if they are A granule chloroplast, then they will go through the C3 cycle because here rubisco will work. Right? Why rubisco will work? Because first thing is temperature is not high here, and second thing, oxygen is not present here, so rubisco will not show its oxygenase activity here. It will go through the C3 cycle. In granule chloroplast, I already told you that oxygen is released, but in bundle sheath cells temperature is low, right? Temperature is low. That low doesn't mean that very low. That low means low as compared to mesophyll cells. We are compared to the mesophyll cells. So oxygen will not be released. If no oxygen, because it means there is no photophosphorylation, because oxygen is released only during the only in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Who will act as here carboxylase enzyme? Because why carboxylase? Because oxygen will not be there, so rubisco will act as the carboxylase enzyme in case of bundle sheath cell. Now if let's look into the pathway, that is the C4 pathway, or which is known as C4 cycle. So this is our outermost layer, that is epidermis. Now carbon dioxide, it is entering. First you have to draw these two cells. As you can see, this black outline and the red one. So this black cell, the black one is known as our mesophyll cell, and the second one is there is bundle sheath cell. So don't get confused, because in plants there are so many mesophyll cells as well as the bundle sheath cells, but here we are drawing only one cells. So CO2 is entering into the mesophyll cells. Here CO2 is combining with the water which is already present in the mesophyll cells. So what is happening? I have written all the things here. So as you can see that when CO2 plus water, they join, they form the carbonic acid, right? H2CO3, carbonic anhydrase. Now carbonic acid. So now this carbonic acid, in the presence of enzyme carbonic anhydrase, right, they are forming the carbonic acid in the presence of enzyme, that is your carbonic anhydrase. They now this H2CO3, it will dissociate or it will break down into the H positive as well as carbonate ions, right? HCO3 negative. So first our carbonic acid is formed, H2CO3 is formed, and then it will dissociate to form H positive and HCO3 negative. Now this HCO3 negative, it will join with the PEP. What is PEP? PEP is phosphoenol pyruvate. So this HCO3 negative will join with PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate, in the presence of enzyme PEPCO, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, because Rubisco is not present in mesophyll cell. So here the Rubisco, in place of Rubisco, which enzyme will work? PEPCO, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. Now this will help to form the first stable product in C4 pathway, that is the OAA. What is OAA? That is oxaloacetic acid. It is a 4 carbon compound and it is a first stable product which is formed in C4 cycle. Now this OAA will change into another 4 carbon compound which is known as malic acid. Now here there are two possibilities, that either oxaloacetic can be converted into malic acid, or sometime oxaloacetic acid go under amination, and with the addition of the NH2 it change into aspartic acid. If it go oxaloacetic acid undergoes amination, that is, and with NH2, then it will form aspartic acid. Agar NH2 nahi add karte hain, then oxaloacetic acid will change into malic acid. Now this malic acid will enter into our bundle sheath cells. Once it enter into bundle sheath cell, this malic acid now will dissociate into, or it will release the carbon dioxide, or it will now break down into, give the one molecule of carbon dioxide which is having one carbon, and then there is our 3 carbon PA. I will just make it circle so it will be easy for you to know that PA. What is PA? PA is pyruvic acid. So this is a 4 carbon compound, right? Malic acid. So it will dissociate into 1 carbon dioxide and 3 carbon pyruvic acid. Now this 1 carbon dioxide will be fixed with the help of C3 cycle. But first let's look into the what happened to this pyruvic acid. This pyruvic acid now will transport it to the mesophyll cell, and but here this is pyruvic acid, and here we have to regenerate into the phosphoenol pyruvate, and phosphoenol pyruvate has a phosphate. It means we need some energy currency now to add phosphate, so now we use ATP, and ATP is converted into AMP. Now you know that, all of you know that ATP has 3 phosphate, 1 2 3, only then it is known as adenosine triphosphate. If I break down, or I break down the 2 phosphate bond, or if we use 2 phosphates, then it will convert into AMP. But if I say that I use 2 ATP and then I convert them into 2 ADP, because we need 2 phosphates somehow, so either you can change the ATP into AMP, then also there will be 2 phosphate, or you can say that 2 ATP you used and convert them into ADP. See, it is very simple, that ATP, if it is converting into ADP, it means now you get 1 phosphate. Again, 1 ATP is converting into ADP, here you got the second phosphate. So 2 ATP, they are converting into 2 ADP. That time you get 2 phosphate. If directly you say that ATP is changing into AMP, then also you get 2 phosphates. Basically you need 2 phosphate here to convert this pyruvic acid to phosphoenol pyruvate. So this phosphoenol pyruvate is regenerated again in the mesophyll cell. But what happened to this carbon dioxide? This carbon dioxide is fixed through the C3 cycle. Now with the help of enzyme, and that you know that with the first that is the 5 carbon compound which is utilized here to fix this carbon dioxide, that is RUBP, and which enzyme is used here? Rubisco. And Rubisco will act as a carboxylase in the bundle sheath cells. Why? Because in bundle sheath cell there is no oxygen is present here. So when there is no oxygen, the only option is CO2. So RUBP plus CO2, they are fixed, and they go through C3 cycle, and there is a synthesis of glucose, and in this way CO2 is fixed in the bundle sheath cell with the help of Rubisco enzyme, and it acts as a carboxylase here. Now the next is why Rubisco act as a carboxylase. First thing, in C4 cells where this Rubisco work. Now these bundle sheath cells, as you, if you just, let's go back to the structure, as you can see, these are the bundle sheath cells, and they are not present on the top. On the top they are present mesophyll cells, so they are present deeper layer into the cell. So these bundle sheath cells, their work is shifted, Rubisco works, they basically, the Rubisco's work is shifted to the deeper side, and Rubisco usually get functional only when the temperature is little low. So it works best in the low temperature as compared to the mesophyll cell. So oxygen is released during light reaction, that is non-cyclic, but in bundle sheath no oxygen, only carbon dioxide is available. So that these two reasons that Rubisco act as carboxylase. Now C4 plants have shifted the place, that because they plants show Kranz anatomy, they have shifted the place of C3 cycle. Now it takes place in the bundle sheath cells. In C3, if we talk about the ATP or the glucose molecule, how many glucose molecule they are used, that is the 18 ATP they are used. If we talk about the C4 plants, that ATP which we use per glucose molecule, see, for glucose to synthesize six cycles they need to be revised. It means we have to use 6 CO2. Now in during one CO2 we are utilizing 2 ATP, means during 6 CO2 fixation we are going to use 12 ATP in case of C4 pathway, because otherwise there is nowhere where this CO2 this ATP is used. But yes, then there we have to count the C3 cycles ATP also, because here that is the extra, these are the extra which we are spending in the mesophyll cell, as well as we have to count the C3 cycle ATP also. So as you can see that 12 ATP of C4 plus of mesophyll cells plus 18 ATP of C3 cycle. So total number of ATP which we are using in C4K plants is 30 ATP. Although it is an expensive process, but it has avoided the use of photosynthesis product, that we will see in our photorespiration topic, that how it is avoiding the photorespiration process. And although it is expensive process, but it is completely using or utilizing all the photosynthesis product in a better use, rather than just using it for the photorespiration process as C3 plants do. That is our complete next lecture. We will discuss these C3 and C4, as well as we will see their difference, but right now our concentration is on C4 plants. So now if we have to write down theoretically, so what is the first, you have to always mention the bundle sheath cells. These are the several layer of cells around the vascular bundles, right? So if there is your xylem and phloem, so these cells, they are known as bundle sheath cells. They have large number of chloroplasts. They have chloroplast in their cells. As well as, now if we talk about C4 pathway, the primary acceptor, you are very clear to that it is a 3-carbon compound. So primary acceptor is phosphoenol pyruvate, and phosphoenol pyruvate is a 3-carbon compound. It is a primary CO2 acceptor, which is present in mesophyll cells. The enzyme responsible here is PEP carboxylase, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, or PEP case. Because why we are using now Pepco? Because mesophyll cells, they lack Rubisco enzyme. They do not have Rubisco. The first stable product which is formed is oxaloacetic acid. Now, the oxaloacetic acid is a 4 carbon. It will convert into malic acid. Malic acid will be transported to bundle sheath cell and broken into pyruvic acid as well as CO2. CO2 is released in bundle sheath and fixed through C3 cycle with the help of which enzyme? Rubisco enzyme. So that is all about our C4 pathway. You have to go through this diagram very carefully and then you can mention your points, because this is very important for your 5 marks question. So next is the last lecture. Next will be the last lecture for photosynthesis, in which we will discuss photorespiration as well as the factors which affect the photosynthesis process. So till then, go through all the videos of photosynthesis and enjoy photosynthesis with me. So I will meet you in my next lecture.